Welcome back, algebra students. Today we're continuing with slope, but we're going in a different direction. It's called direct variation. So, direct variation is described by an equation of the form y equals kx. So you're going to have to remember this: y equals kx, and remember that the equation of a line was y equals mx plus b. So that was the equation of a line. And if you remember, the slope is m, and that's going to correlate with the k in the direct correlation. The only difference between these are that there is no y-intercept listed, meaning that it goes through 0, 0. So all direct variations have to go through the origin, which is 0.00. So all direct variations are going to be y equals kx. We say that y varies directly as x. In the equation y equals kx, k is the constant of variation. Constant of variation. So for number one, example one, we're going to name the constant of variation, and we're going to find the slope of the line that passes through the pairs. So they give us the equation y equals 1/2 x. So that's following the form y equals kx. So what does k equal? Well, if we look right here, k would equal 1/2. K equals 1/2. That's all we're doing. We found k equals 1/2. Now we're going to find the slope. The slope, and I'm going to draw my triangle, my rise over run. I went up 1 unit, and I went right 2 units. So my slope is going to be up 1 over 2. So what we notice is our constant of variation and our slope are the same. So that's how you're going to do the first 3 problems, which are graphically. You're just going to identify the constant of variation, and then you're going to identify the slope. Now, for example 2, suppose y varies directly as x, and y equals 30 when x equals 5. So we're going to write down our equation, y equals kx, and they give us a scenario when x equals 5, y equals 30. So we're going to set up our equation 30, which is y, equals kx. And we're doing that so that we can find what k is. All right? So 30 equals k times 5. Divide by 5 both sides. And you get k equals 6. So now write the direct variation equation that relates x and y. Well, y equals kx, we know what k is. K is 6, so y equals 6x. And then use the direct variation equation to find x when y equals 18. So we're going to plug in. We know our equation, y equals 6x, and we need to find x when y equals 18. So we're going to plug in what we know. 18 equals 6x. Divide both sides by 6. X equals 3 when y equals 18. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to do one of these problems with you, and then I'm going to let you guys do the rest of them. So the first thing I want you to know, name the constant of variation for each equation, then determine the slope of the line that passes through each pair. All right, so we remember our equation is y equals kx. So k is negative 2. So right there we have k equals negative 2. That's my constant of variation. Now I'm going to find my slope. From this point to this point, I go down 2, so that'd be negative 2 over 1. So m equals negative 2 over 1, which equals negative 2. And that's all you're doing for these three. Number 2, k would equal 3, right? And our slope up 3 over 1. For number 3, k equals 3 halves, 3 over 2. And our slope up 1, 2, 3 over 2. They're equal. So you're going to have to write down those answers on your own. Now, I'm going to do 2 of these problems, and I'll do the one with the fraction so you don't have to worry about that one too much. I'll do 6 and 7, and then I'll leave number 4 and 5 for you. All right, the first thing we want to do is we want to write our equation, our direct variation, y equals kx. So y equals kx. They tell us y is negative 4.8 when x is negative 1.6. So I'm going to plug in those values. Y is negative 4.8 equals k times negative 1.6. Divide both sides by negative 1.6. We get k equals 3. What just happened? Uh-oh. Bear with me. All right, k equals 3. So now we can plug in our equation, y equals kx. Well, y equals 3x. And they say find x. So now we're on the second part. Find x when y equals negative 24. So I'm going to plug in negative 24 for y. Negative 24 equals 3 times x. We don't know what x is. So I divide both sides by 3. And I get x equals negative 8. And that's my answer. K equals 3, x equals negative 8. So our equation was y equals 3x. Now we're going to do number 7 together. And then you guys will do numbers 4 and 5, 2 and 3 on your own. Okay. So I start off with my equation, y equals kx. Y is 1/4, so I get 1/4 equals k times x. X is 1/8. So now to find out what y is, or k is, I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal, 8 over 1. They cancel out here, and I get k equals 8 divided by 4 is 2. K equals 2. So now I have my equation, y equals 2x. So I found my equation. Now they want me to find x when y is 3/16. So I'm going to plug in y, 3/16 equals 2, my constant variation, times x. So to make it a little bit easier for you, we can divide both sides by 2, or I can multiply both sides by 1/2, because when we're multiplying fractions, it's easier to do it that way. So I get x equals 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 16 is 32. And that's my answer. X equals 3 over 32. And that's what you guys are doing. So you guys are going to do number 4 and 5 and 2 and 3 on your own. I'm always available if you need some help. Thanks, guys.